Drew Berry, the GM of the Browns, I am saying to Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel, here's the answers to the test. We have 2 first-round picks next year. Every day is a job interview. Convince us that we don't need a quarterback. And now with 2 ones with next year's draft with all those quarterbacks, we could get a generational haul, earn this job.
What happens when the NFL shrugs off a rookie before he's even unpacked his gym bag, and then he storms in and clowns everybody? That's the Shedeur Sanders story. The same kid the league wasn't sure about just flipped the Browns' preseason opener into his own viral mixtape. Rex Ryan's throwing shade, the Panthers are stuck with regrets, and the NFL's standing there with egg dripping off its face. This ain't a recap, this is a roast with cleats on. Week 1 of the NFL preseason didn't give us just football. It dropped a show better than any Netflix comedy special. And the headline was loud and clear, Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, the same Shedeur scouts whispered about, calling him a maybe.
And to Dan's point, he has earned the right for more reps. And clearly he has been studying, because you can't play as fast as Dan showed without knowing.
The same one they thought would wobble like a kid on training wheels against a real defense. Well, guess what? He showed up without training wheels, without the bike, and straight up hijacked the Browns offense like it was a stolen ride, doing donuts all over the Carolina Panthers. This wasn't just a debut. It was a football mic drop that shook the room. Picture it, Browns versus Panthers, preseason snooze fest. Half the crowd usually scrolling through their phones, not even knowing who's on the field. But the second Shedeur stepped onto the turf, the whole vibe changed. Even the beer guys froze mid-pour just to catch what was going down.
When you watch that game, there were a couple moments, like 2 or 3 plays where you sit there and go, Shedeur, don't do it, because he's backpedaling and drifting. He's got to learn through that. But every report we've heard out of camp has been, man, he's been really impressed.
And by the final whistle, the Panthers' defense looked like they were chasing a squirrel through a corn maze, spinning, lost, and totally embarrassed. And the cherry on top, the Browns actually won. Rare enough, right? But the way they pulled it off had Rex Ryan hollering on TV and NFL Twitter exploding in real time. Shedeur didn't just show up, he showed out and left the whole league gasping. The NFL, bless their stiff corporate hearts, loves to play gatekeeper. They act like only they know who's ready and who's not, breaking down arm angles like scientists in a lab, asking if a player has pocket poise, and sometimes ranking a guy lower just because his handshake wasn't firm enough at the combine. Can you believe that? And that's exactly how they treated Shedeur Sanders. They peeked at his college film, gave a polite nod, and basically said, nice, but calm down.
But overall, this was tremendous. You know, that's probably a little overstatement, but it was very good for him. I would give him a B+. I could see if someone wanted to give him an A- when you consider the circumstances. Like, every 5th round pick is under some pressure in the preseason because you might not even make the team. But for him, like, if he went out there and played poorly, couldn't get the offense under control, was bad at the line of scrimmage, made some bad throws, who knows what his future would have been.
Fast forward to week 1 and boom, Shedeur looked like he'd been in the league for a decade, snapping off quick reads, firing laser-accurate throws, moving in the pocket like he had GPS tracking installed in his helmet. The way he ran the show, it was like watching someone beat a video game on hard mode while casually explaining the storyline to a friend. Meanwhile, the Panthers' defense, they weren't playing football, they were playing traffic cones. The only thing they managed to hit all night was their own pride. By the second quarter, their body language told the whole story. Heads down, shoulders slumped, that oh no, we're about to be on ESPN highlights for the wrong reasons look. Their defensive backs looked like they'd seen a ghost, already knowing they'd be on the wrong end of a viral clip by morning, and then Rex Ryan came through with the breakdown.
I like Rex. I don't think Ron has the right personality.
He didn't just say Shedeur was good, he practically mailed the NFL a giant told you so postcard. Rex has been around too long to mistake luck for greatness. And in his own words, this wasn't some rookie flash, it was a young quarterback already flexing veteran-level confidence and making the league look silly for doubting him. Now let's get into confidence, because Shedeur Sanders has the kind that makes coaches literally lean forward in their chairs. You can drill mechanics all day, You can polish footwork until the cleats wear out. But that ice-cold calm under pressure, you can't teach that, you can't fake it, you either got it or you don't, and Shedeur's got it in spades. That's the difference between being the backup we kind of like and being the guy you actually build a whole offense around. And the comedy here, oh, it writes itself.
Diana, most interesting thing in preseason week number 1 was what?
How different the league feels about Shedeur Sanders' performance compared to the rest of us.
Funny.
Chase, my colleague on Scoop City, quarterback, 14 years, studies film like a lunatic. He's like an Orlovsky. Loves it. Like, just consumes this stuff.
All off-season, the so-called experts ranked rookies like judges at a cooking show, tasting pies, giving side-eye, acting like they knew the recipe for greatness. Shedeur, they labeled him the cute little pie that probably wouldn't rise in the oven. Then week 1 hits and boom, 5-star souffle piping hot, straight out the oven. The NFL's left standing there holding the recipe card upside down, wondering how the kitchen just caught fire. And Browns fans felt it immediately. This wasn't the usual false hope. This didn't feel like a soap opera waiting to collapse. It felt like the start of something real, something that could actually deliver wins without drama. Meanwhile, the Panthers should honestly send Shedeur a fruit basket because he just gave them their biggest headline since Cam Newton was out here dabbing on everybody.
This is the thing I loved about Rex Ryan. This is a personal story. Like, Rex Ryan would not want to hear what you couldn't do. He wants to know what you can.
Only problem? It's the wrong kind of spotlight. Panthers fans didn't leave that stadium talking about areas for improvement. Nah, they left talking about how a rookie just danced through their defense like it was a high school homecoming parade. And Browns fans know the moment I'm talking about. Shedeur drops back, pocket collapsing, chaos everywhere. But instead of panicking, he just shifts cool as ice, plants his feet, and rips a laser between 2 defenders like it was nothing. That's not rookie luck, that's a star in the making. It was the kind of throw that makes you freeze mid-bite, nachos halfway to your mouth and go, wait, did he really just do that? And the wild part? Shedeur made it look casual like a routine drill. Meanwhile, the NFL and the Panthers are scrambling with excuses. It's just preseason, it doesn't mean anything.
So the Cleveland reporters finally asked Dillon Gabriel the narrative that's been spinning around his name. You know, he processed the information completely better.
Oh, really? That's like saying the Super Bowl in February doesn't mean anything either. We all know what this is. It's a warning shot. Shedeur Sanders isn't here to be good for a rookie. He's here to be good, period. Cleveland's offense hasn't looked this alive in forever. Suddenly the receivers were sharper, routes cleaner, the O-line buying just enough time, and Shedeur dropping dimes only his guys could snag. That rhythm, dangerous, even with a watered-down preseason playbook, and that's the scary part. This was just the appetizer. Now let's talk comedy, because watching Panthers fans process what was happening was priceless. First quarter, they're polite, clapping like everything's fine. Second quarter, the grumbling starts, side eyes everywhere. By the third, phones are out, scrolling fantasy waiver wires like, who can save us? And by the fourth quarter, forget it. They're just praying for the clock to run out before another rookie quarterback torches their defense. And the cherry on top?
He can play. He can play.
One other thing, we talked about this last week, no self-inflicted wounds. There weren't pre-snap penalties, no delays, and that to me, again, shows that it's not too big for him.
I am right.
Shedeur didn't even look like he was trying to prove anybody wrong. No chip on his shoulder, no I'll show them attitude. He just played like the field already belonged to him, like it was his backyard. That calm swagger, that's what's got Rex Ryan grinning ear to ear like he just stumbled on free snacks in the locker room. Bottom line, the NFL can dress it up however they want, but the truth is loud and clear, and I can't wait to see what happens when the games actually count. Browns fans, you might as well start practicing those victory parades early. Panthers fans, better start practicing deep breathing exercises because it's going to be a long season watching highlight clips of Shedeur burning your defense replayed on loop.
Because you always want results, but I think more than anything, it's consistent results. So if you don't have a process you can truly hang your hat on, then you're leaving up to chance, or maybe it's more inconsistent rather than having a strong process. And of course, you know how the game of football goes. There's a lot of positives. There may be some negatives, but there's also something to pride in yourself on your process and how you work and how you approach it. And for me, I think you build up that process and you want to see results, and it will come. And definitely know that, like I just said, it's a results-based business, so you got to go do it. And that's why we always talk about no excuses.
The league just got its first real taste of Shedeur Sanders, and something tells me they're about to get a whole lot more. If you're an NFL GM who passed on him or thought he wasn't worth the hype, call in sick this week. Not because the team doctor said so, but because every sports show, podcast, and barbershop convo from here to next year is about to drag you for doubting this kid's name. The Browns didn't just beat the Panthers. They introduced the NFL to a quarterback who looked like he's been secretly running an NFL playbook out of his basement for the past 5 years. And let's be clear, this wasn't one of those raw talent but still needs polish kind of debuts. No way. This was clean, smooth, and surgical. It was like walking into a casual kickback dressed in a tuxedo and still making everybody else look underdressed. Shedeur wasn't rattled. He wasn't panicking. He was running the field like a seasoned vet. His pocket movement wasn't random scrambling either. It was sharp, calculated steps. Slide up, shift left, reset, boom, another completion. That's veteran behavior coming from a rookie, and that's why the whole league is in shock right now. Most rookies in week 1, they play like the field is lava and every pass rusher is a fireball ready to burn them alive. But Shedeur Sanders? Man, he looked like he was casually directing traffic in a parking lot. Calm hand signals, no panic, no rush, just steady moves, and somehow everybody ended up exactly where they needed to be. And let's talk about that Panthers front 7. They came in hungry, ready to eat a rookie alive, but they left stuffed with nothing but cold, cafeteria-style humble pie. Not warm, not sweet, not seasoned, just sad and hard to swallow. By the third quarter, it wasn't even about sacking him anymore. You could see it in their faces.
I know it's only 1 week. It's a little early. We don't want to get too carried away. But who had a better weekend this weekend than Mel Kiper Jr.? I don't know if he was on the Chesapeake Bay or where he was in Baltimore eating crabs, but I do know that the one player that he touted all through the draft.
Their thought bubbles were basically saying, all right, fine, we're not touching him. Let's just make sure our moms see us on TV when we're in the background of his highlight reel. Brutal. And here's the thing. Every so often, a quarterback throws a ball so clean, so perfect, that even the defense has no choice but to nod and say, yeah, that's fair. Shedeur did that not once, not twice, but multiple times. This isn't some rookie slinging wild prayers into double coverage. He's not out here testing his luck. He's out here testing the defense, and he's winning. That third quarter drive? Pure art. Browns pinned back near their own goal line, and normally this is where rookie dreams die fast. 3 and out. Cue the punt team. But not here. Shedeur stayed calm, mixing short surgical throws with just enough trickery to make the Panthers linebackers question their career choices. He didn't just survive, he controlled the game like a pro. By the time the Browns crossed midfield, the Panthers defense was already gasping like marathon runners hitting mile 25 with no water in sight. That drive ended with a touchdown that felt inevitable, like the Panthers weren't defenders anymore, just passengers riding the Browns scoring train straight into the end zone. And credit where it's due, let's pause to salute Cleveland's offensive line. They knew they had something special to protect, and you could see it in their work. They held their blocks that split second longer, dug a little deeper, and pushed a little harder, all to keep Shedeur standing tall. That's what happens when your quarterback earns your trust. Guys fight for him. And here's the irony. The NFL spent the entire summer hyping rookies to watch, dropping big names left and right, and somehow Shedeur Sanders was treated like a footnote, the football equivalent of a shrug. Meanwhile, other rookies who got hyped up like the next Joe Montana are out here in preseason overthrowing wide open receivers by 10 yards. One dude in the NFC looked like he was auditioning to hit concession stand workers instead of his own teammates. But Shedeur, cool.
What Shedeur did Friday night makes me anxious now to see Dillon Gabriel in the preseason, because I want to see what he can do. And look, if Dillon goes out there and he does what Shedeur did, I got no problem saying I was wrong. Then Dillon's just a bad practice quarterback. Dillon very good on the whiteboard. Dylan very good at memorizing stuff. Dylan very good in games. He's a terrible practice quarter. I would have no problem saying that. But right now, he's a terrible practice.
Composed, efficient, deadly accurate. And that's got a sting for the "it's just preseason" crowd. That phrase is the NFL's favorite excuse, like saying "it's not you, it's me" after a breakup. Translation: we were wrong, but we don't want to admit it yet. Yeah, I get it. Preseason is about evaluation, not results. But let's be real. It's also about seeing if a rookie can walk onto an NFL field and look like he belongs. And Shedeur didn't just belong, he owned it. That matters. Cleveland fans are already buzzing. Clips, memes, TikToks, even some wild early Super Bowl talk. And while maybe it's too soon for January parades, players feed off that energy. When your quarterback radiates confidence like this, the entire team starts believing every single play can hit big. Even the plays that shouldn't have worked ended up looking easy in Shedeur's hands. And let's keep it real. The Panthers' defensive playbook isn't some kiddie-level scheme. They threw blitzes, disguised coverages, tried every trick in the rookie trap handbook. But instead of Shedeur falling for it, he flipped the script. He baited them. There was one play where he looked off the safety so smoothly, the poor guy might still be sprinting in the wrong direction right now. And the pass dropped in perfectly for a first down, like it was scripted in a dream sequence. Now, Panthers fans will spin this as just a bad night, swearing the real team will show up once the regular season kicks off. But deep down, they know the truth. They just got their first real taste of Shedeur Sanders, and it went down like medicine nobody wanted to swallow. Meanwhile, Cleveland is walking taller than they have in years. Sure, it's early. Sure, the season's long. But Browns fans can feel it. They might finally have their guy, the quarterback who makes Sundays worth believing again. And here's why that matters. In the NFL, quarterback purgatory can last for decades. Teams wander the desert searching for the one, and Cleveland fans know that pain better than anybody. That's why the buzz around the city right now is electric. And don't get it twisted. The NFL may be doubting Shedeur now, but give it a few weeks.
Hey, for a big Shedeur. Let's put things into perspective. Take this time to create competitive commotion. What I mean about competitive commotion is you're in a quarterback battle. You want to get the whispers, the chirping. Hey man, what's Shedeur?
Watch how fast those analysts pivot. Pretty soon, the same talking heads who dismissed him will be acting like they saw it all coming. Rewinding old clips just to say, see, we knew he had it all along. Classic NFL spin move. And that's the beauty of it. Because right now, the league's still pretending Shedeur Sanders is just a nice story. But we all see what's happening. The kid walked into preseason and played like it was his league, his rules, his stage. By the time the regular season hits, the same execs who passed on him are going to be sweating through their suits, watching their own fan bases scream, "Why didn't we draft him?" The Browns didn't just stumble onto a quarterback, they might have stumbled onto a revolution. Shedeur doesn't look like a rookie, doesn't sound like a rookie, and sure as hell doesn't play like one. He looks like the kind of guy who could drag a whole franchise out of the mud with one arm tied behind his back. And Cleveland? They're starving for that kind of hero. Meanwhile, the NFL machine will do what it always does, rewrite the story. The same scouts who shrugged will start calling him underrated all along. The same analysts who laughed will suddenly say, "Oh, I always saw it in his mechanics." Nah, too late. We saw the receipts. They doubted him, and now he's making them all pay for it, one highlight reel at a time. So buckle up, because Shedeur Sanders just threw his name into the spotlight, and if week one looked like this, imagine what happens when the games really matter. You're gonna start hearing the spin real soon. Analysts saying, "Oh, I've been high on Sanders since day one," from the same folks who spent the whole summer ranking him in the bottom half of rookie QBs. That's just how the NFL machine works. Pretend you always knew once the receipts fade, but we remember. We remember who doubted him, who hedged their bets, and who flat out dismissed him before he even touched the field. And more importantly, we'll all remember week one of the 2025 preseason, the night a so-called maybe turned into a must-watch in just 4 quarters. That was the moment Shedeur Sanders stopped being a question mark and started looking like the answer. So buckle up, Browns fans, because whether the NFL's ready or not, Shedeur Sanders has arrived. And if this was only the warm-up, the regular season could turn into something legendary. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you on the next one.